Right, so ladies and gentlemen, allow us to address the elephant in the room. The elephant, in this case, has manifested itself as this particularly snazzy shirt. Now, I know I'm a bit of a dapper chapper, but even for me, this is next level snaz. Why, you may ask? Well, because it's actually my birthday today. And this shirt is a present from my lovely friend, Dushian Astana, who designs all these marvellous shirts and lots of other things. So do be sure to check out his website. It's also his birthday in 2 days. So there's another reason. So what am I going to be making? Obviously, I'm going to be making a birthday cake. But what? Well, a friend of mine over in London, she actually sent me a message last week saying, do you remember when I was in LA and I was visiting you guys and you made the most fantastic carrot cake I've ever had? I'd love to have that again. So that is what I will be making for my birthday cake today. It's carrot cake, carrot birthday cake.
Right, so first up, preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 180 degrees C, and then we are going to peel top and tail, then grate our carrots. Please don't be tempted to buy pre-grated carrots. A, they're gross, they have no flavour, and perhaps more importantly, they don't have the moisture of freshly grated carrots, and moistness is what this cake is all about. Yes, I'm going to be saying moist an awful lot during this video, so get used to it. Once they're done, it actually took 4 carrots in the end, so set those aside and then move on to our dry ingredients. In a separate bowl, add the flour, baking soda, baking powder, salt, cinnamon, and whatever other spices you like, so they can be sieved into our mixing bowl. Now, I add 1/4 teaspoon of pumpkin spice and the same amount again of nutmeg, but by all means, customize this to your taste. As always, I'm going to be using my trusty stand mixer, but you can easily do this with a spoon or with a hand mixer. Once they're all sieved, give them a little whiz to combine, and then we're going to move on to our wet ingredients. And yes, sugar is a wet ingredient as it melts when it gets hot. Add the sugars into a separate bowl and then add 1 of the eggs and start mixing. Then add the other 2 eggs and mix them all up thoroughly. Now it's time for the cup of oil. Now please remember to use a flavourless oil here, and also remember to add it bit by bit, otherwise it can split and it also goes all over the place and you really don't want that. Once that's done, we'll add the flour and the spice mixture to the bowl, but again, do this bit by bit so you A, don't overwork the batter or it'll get tough and it won't be moist. Yes, there's that word again. And B, you don't send flour flying all over your kitchen. Now I add mine in 3 stages and just combine it until the flour is incorporated. Again, we don't want to overwork this batter or it won't be, you guessed it. This is actually a key principle in all cake making that has flour in it, so well worth getting used to it now. Never ever overwork a cake batter that has flour in it. Just bring it together and you'll be grand and moist. Okay, now it's time for our raisins, and my first top tip. In order to prevent the raisins from sinking to the bottom while the cake bakes, coat them in a little flour, just like this. Boom! Top tip. Okay, so now we can add our grated carrots and the dusted raisins to the batter. And here's my next top tip. A cup of applesauce. You'll never guess why I add this. That's right. It also adds another layer of sweetness without actually adding sugar, and the applesauce adds a little acidity too, which I really enjoy. Okay, now just combine this again. Remember not to overwork it, just a few turns, and that's it. Next, divide the batter evenly into 2 9-inch cake tins. Then pop them into the oven, and they're going to be in there for about 25 to 30 minutes or until they're a lovely golden brown and have pulled away ever so slightly from the edges of the tin. Now it is time to phone the young lady who inspired this bake.
Happy birthday!
Thank you very much.
It's not a birthday there, is it?
It is my birthday, it's past midnight. Because of a message that you sent me just a few days ago, I'm actually baking for my birthday carrot cake.
Delicious!
Right? Go on.
Didn't think I liked it until I tried your carrot cake. I got force-fed it at school. Ever since then, off the carrot cake.
Mate, what kind of bougie school are you going to when they're giving you carrot cake?
It was a private school, but I didn't like it.
You get carrot cake at school. You're at work right now, you're at the shop. Are you just doing deliveries? Are you doing takeout? Like, what are you doing? Because we want to hashtag support local business.
They closed for physical customers to come in, which is really sad.
Okay.
But So we're doing online orders and local deliveries.
People can get everything that they want at hatties.co.uk, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Fantastic. It is saying poor connection and you keep pausing at the most awkward moments.
Oh no! No, is it really bad?
All right, sweetheart. Well, listen, lots of love to you, lots of love to the family. We miss you, obviously. And we're going to see you as soon as we can get back on a plane and you can come to us.
I know, I can't wait.
Okay, darling.
We'll do a baking video, you and me. Lots of love.
Ah, isn't she lovely? If you're around or about the Epsom area in Surrey, do pop into Hattie's Sweet Shop and say hello. She's just so lovely. Or indeed, if you want anything delivered, they do actually deliver all over the UK. Right, so back to the cake. While they are baking, it is time to make the frosting. And yes, of course, it is cream cheese frosting, my absolute favourite. Pop your softened butter and cream cheese into a bowl and then mix them together. Then it's time for the powdered sugar. Now we have 2 cups of it, but we want to add it little by little or it'll go all over the place. Now you'll want to beat this together thoroughly for at least a minute. You really want it to be lovely and light and soft and luscious. So take your time. It's all about that texture once again. Okay, once you're happy with that, it is time to add our vanilla. Now, if you've got vanilla extract and that's what you got, no worries, but I love using vanilla paste for recipes where one can see the gorgeous little black flecks enveloped in luscious, cloudy whiteness. Like I said, if you've got that, wicked, use it. If you don't, vanilla extract will work just fine. Okay, it's time to retrieve our cakes, and don't they look fabulous? Just let them sit in their tins for about 5 minutes and then turn them out very carefully onto a wire rack and let them cool completely before frosting. Okay, once your cakes have cooled completely, take your cake plate and pop some wax paper down on it just to prevent the plate from getting frosting all over it. And then we're going to cut a little bit off the top of our cakes just to make them nice and flat. Of course, this little bit that we cut off should absolutely end up in your mouth and not in the bin. And isn't that lovely? Right. Then just pop about just less than half of the frosting into the center of this cake and spread it right to the edge. Then take your other cake and again cut the top off that to make it nice and flat. And then what we're going to do is actually going to invert it and place it on top of our frosted cake upside down, just so the top is beautifully flat. Next, add the remaining frosting and smooth it right to the edge and actually allow it to drop down the sides. Then smooth the sides as best you can and keep scraping it off the top and letting it fall down the edge and smoothing the sides. I'm not very good at this, I have to admit, but I do try my best, and that's all that matters. Now, for many of you, you'll be adding crushed walnuts to the outer edges of this cake, so they don't need to look that perfect, but we're not that keen on the walnuts, so we'll be skipping that, and we kind of enjoy the beautiful sort of uniform whiteness and again those little black flecks of vanilla, so we're just going to leave it plain. Once that's done, you'll need to pop it in the fridge for about an hour just so the frosting can set, and then take it out about 20 minutes before serving it. And there it is. I just love this cake. It's beautifully soft, those warm spices. It's not too sweet, it's luxurious, and that silky frosting, and of course, that all-important moistness. It's perfect for a birthday or any other celebration. And as always, the full recipe and method is posted in the description below.
Right, carrot cake is done. Birthday celebrations are imminent. So thank you again, as always, for watching, and I'll see you again next time.